What's up, everybody? This past weekend, we had the second go-around of the Splitgate 2 Alpha. We had one earlier. I did a review on that one. I'll link that review down below. Today, we are talking about the updated Alpha. A little confusing that two playtests in a row, months and months apart. I think last one was August. Are both Alphas, but that's what they're calling them, so that's what we're going to call it as well. As usual, in our reviews, we do pros, the so-sos, and the cons of the games. When we do follow-up reviews, we go over the same pros, so-sos, and cons and talk about whether they're better, worse, different, whatever. And then if there's any additional pros, cons, so-sos. In the case of the second go-around of the Splitgate 2 Alpha, I didn't really have any additional items to add to those lists. So we're going to just be talking about whether those were improved, the same, different, or how I feel about them in a second playtest. The real difference was there were some added maps, and I think all of the Splitgate map are fun. Whether it's the first game, the second game, I think they're all fun. They're unique. They're different. There's fun things like portal walls that are outside the regular map. So, there's ones that are floating up in the sky on some maps, and you got to jump into a portal and have enough momentum to make it back to the map. Of course, you have the jetpacks, but there's fun portal placements like that. So, I think all the maps are good. As for modes, I don't remember exactly what modes were in the first alpha test. I believe it was their hardpoint mode, and I'm not going to remember all the names. I believe it was just their hardpoint mode, their domination mode, and their team deathmatch, which all returned in this. They were all fun. We know how those goes because we play Call of Duty. Some other modes were split ball, which is kind of like an oddball from Halo, except they have balls spawn throughout the rounds. You grab the ball, then you have to take it back to your scoring area on your side of the map, and the team can actually steal it from your scoring area and bring it back to theirs, and you can steal it back, and you can go back and forth. And throughout the round, there's more and more ball spawn, so the rounds will end. It's not like they cap it at 3 and you have to get all 3, so they will end, so it doesn't go on forever, and I think that's good. They also added a firecracker mode where it's kind of like search and destroy, except it's a respawn mode that's based off of timer or planting the bomb. This was a really fun mode. My big issue with it was that I thought the defuse and plant times maybe could have been a little bit better. Especially the defuse time seemed really short. But the plant time wasn't too bad. But it's like a search and destroy mode, except there's respawns. You can reset the bomb to the original spawn if you go to where it spawns. So if it's in an area you just can't get to it, you can reset it. And so that was an interesting mode. And then they had, I can't remember the name of it, where they had a multi-team mode. Instead of 2v2, it was 3 teams of 4 on a bigger map with the same kinds of modes. Then they also had a search and destroy, which I did not get a chance to play, but it was a traditional search and destroy mode without respawns, with just planting the bomb. I didn't get a chance to get on that. And they had a 2v2 mode or playlist. They had a 1v1 playlist, and the 2v2 and the 1v1 playlist, just like the playlist with the 3 teams, all had normal game modes in them. Well, I guess the 1v1 was only team deathmatch, but they did have the 2v2 as well. And then what was really fun and exciting was they had the chaos mode, where it was the regular game modes, but all your abilities charged way faster. There was almost no gravity, so you just went flying all over the map. That was really fun, especially for split ball. It could be frustrating for team deathmatch because it's so much harder to aim in that, but it's still fun. Some of the most fun I've had in gaming in a while was playing the chaos playlist on Splitgate 2. So that's what was really new. And then there was there a new power weapon, which is a sniper, which we'll talk about the power weapons as we go through our pros, cons, and so-sos, because there's one that we highlight specifically, and we'll talk more then. There was some new equipment for some of the factions. The only one that I can remember was the Meridian faction, the first one on the list, where they had a portable portal where you could just hit. I never actually used it because the stuns were just so overpowered. But those were the changes that I can remember off the top of my head, or that I would have written down. So going through the cons, rounds in a TDM mode. Now, here's where a playlist also that I forgot to mention came into play. Was they had a playlist where it was no rounds. It was just to a score. So if you don't like rounds in these arena modes that aren't search and destroy, they will have a playlist, or as long as it carries over. And in the full game, they did have a playlist where there was no rounds. So I'm still not a fan of rounds in a team deathmatch. I'm fine with it in domination modes, hardpoints, split ball, firecracker. I'm good with rounds and all of that. And I'm not a fan of rounds in team deathmatch. But they did have a playlist where there was no rounds. And so there is that. Team balancing, I do think if Now, this could just be that Splitgate 2, this was so sweaty. The first few hours that I played, first 2 or 3 hours, I was killing it. The lobbies weren't too bad. I got some really easy lobbies, and then I don't know if they have strong SBMM in the alpha, or if it just became only good players still playing and sweaty players, Splitgate lovers, but it became incredibly sweaty. And there was times where me and my team were just getting our asses kicked. We didn't, maybe it's because I was solo and I was coming across full squads playing together, but we didn't do a lot of ass kicking when we won. I had a few ass kickings after the first few hours, but if there was an ass kicking, I was usually on the wrong end of that. And either I would do bad, or like I had teammates who would get less than 10 kills throughout an entire game, and just the team balancing sometimes was so-so. The footstep audio, now I played with music the whole time, so take it with a grain of salt, but this was on my con from the first time, and I didn't notice an improvement on it. In most games, if I leave my music on, like when I'm playing Call of Duty, I still hear footsteps in multiplayer over it, and I've done it with Halo, I hear footsteps. So even if the footstep audio was there and I was just missing it, it was obviously too quiet. Now, here we had a con, zone capture percentage when you're playing hardpoint. I forget exactly what they called their hardpoint, but when you're playing their hardpoint mode, and you would go to capture a zone, if you got it to 75%, the other team could just get it back to that 25%, whereas in Call of Duty, you had to undo their capture and then recapture it yourself. Well, they changed that. That's how it worked. So this would go off of the con list and just be nothing on this list, but they did fix that. Then we had the no auto sprint. Now, the no auto sprint, and I believe I pointed this out in my first review, it's because if you want to stay off of the radar, you don't sprint. But if you start sprinting, you'll show up on people's radars. But for someone who just wants to play aggro and doesn't really care about that as much, it would be nice just to have it as an option. It's not a huge con, but it would be a nice option to have. And I still didn't see it. I don't think I actually went through the settings, but I don't think I saw it. And then no kill cams. There's still no kill cams. I think, in a ranked mode, you want to get rid of kill cams. In a single life S&D mode, no kill cams, fine. Hardcore mode, you want to do no kill cams. They also did have a hardcore playlist, by the way. But in just regular pubs in arena modes, I think there should be kill cams, and there's still not. There might be there. Then another con we had, you couldn't view scoreboards in between rounds when you were on like the class and loadout selection screen. Now you can. So they did fix that. So we take zone capture percentage and can't view scoreboard between rounds off of the lists. This list entirely. Then we get to the so-sos. The tutorial was good. I don't remember what my complaint was in the first review, actually, because that was all the way back in, like, August. But this time, it stays on the so-so list because it just stopped working. It told me to throw down my power shield. I threw it down, waited, like, 30 or 45 seconds for it to regenerate. Threw it down, didn't work again. Waited one more time, threw it down, didn't work again. So the tutorial, great having tutorials. Love tutorials. If you watch my reviews for multiplayer games, you know that I mark down every game that doesn't have a tutorial and mark up every game that does. So having one, good. It not working all the way, not good. Then another so-so was respawn timers. This did not get changed. The respawn timers are dependent on your team's action. So think you're playing a Resurgence game in Warzone or in Fortnite, whatever they reloaded in Fortnite, and then, God, what do they call it in Apex? Whatever. And getting kills or getting objective points lowers your respawn timer. If your teammates are doing that, that's how they did it here. I'm not a fan of that. In an arenas mode, especially when so many players might be playing by themselves, I think the respawn time should just be the respawn time. And it's not a huge deal. And if you're playing with a squad, I can see the strategy in it, which is why I like it. And because, they could just set it, hey, it's 10 seconds for respawn normally, but this gives the opportunity to be lower. I'm still not a fan of it, but it can also make your respawns quicker if you're on a really good team. Then on the so-sos, we had reload animations, and in my first review, I talked about how some guns have really cool reload animations, and others just didn't have them, otherwise it would be on the pros. Same thing, some had them, some didn't. And then assists as kills, there is literally a thing that'll pop up, assist kill, but there is no thing on the scoreboard or in your stats. It says how many kills you got, this is how many assists you got. Like Call of Duty has eliminations, but they separate out kills and total eliminations, where Splitgate doesn't do that. And I don't think that assists should count the same as kills. I don't think there should be an assist kill. There should just be an assist stat category. And that's still the way it is. I have it in so-sos, like probably because the respawn timer lowers the same. And hey, if you care about stats, it does make your stats look better. It's not the worst thing in the world. I could easily see moving this down to cons. Then we get into pros, loadouts. So we're just going to, I don't know why I don't have loadouts here first, but just loadouts in general. I like having some customizable loadouts in arena shooters. I like that you have your primary weapon, your secondary weapon. Your primary has 2 attachments. Your secondary has 1 attachment. Then you have an equipment slot and 3 perk slots. I just like it. It gives people a customizable, unique experience and helps people play the game they want to play. And then, of course, you have a few different primary and secondary weapons to pick from. I swear there's only 1 pistol still, but there's obviously going to be more. And so that was good. That I like loadouts. Loadouts are fun. Loadouts are good. It's something that Call of Duty really started, and I think is a good thing to have in arena shooters, especially in casual mode. Obviously not in BRs, but this is a BR. And then we have factions. I like that there's factions. Once again, there's different guns, equipment, skill, perks, abilities. There's different makes it so you have different ways to play is what I'm trying to say. So once again, it just goes with the loadouts. It gives people more of a customizable, unique experience, lets them approach a game that more fits the way that they want to play games, which in the long run, I think is healthy for keeping a good player base. So long as the game is good, the content stays fresh. Being able to customize your own experience, I think, always helps players enjoy a game, which helps get new players, helps retain players, and I just think I think factions are good. I think loadouts are good. And then what else I like is each faction has its own set of loadouts. So you don't have to manage just one list of loadouts. If you like playing all the factions, you can have loadouts for each faction. And so you don't have to I got to get rid of a loadout because I need this loadout for this faction. I like that they separate them uniquely. And like I said, I like that they have their own unique guns, equipment, upgrades, whatever, powers, whatever you want to call them, like your alt, and then different equipment and all that. So I think factions are good. Loadouts are good. Loadouts specific to each faction are good as well. Then we also have jetpacks. Splitgate 1, no jetpacks. Splitgate 2, jetpacks. I just think it's fun because it's not, Call of Duty, the argument against jetpacks was, hey, this is like military, and it's not really ever been futuristic except for a few games, and that's why Call of Duty did not do as well when it had jetpacks and why they're so scared to put jetpacks in now, although the Call of Duty formula is getting a little bit tired, and so maybe jetpacks might be welcomed. But since this game is more sci-fi, more fictional, more crazy, the jetpacks are fun. It adds more movement, and like in the chaos mode I talked about, so much you can do with the jetpacks because you can fly around. You can really get momentum, especially if you're the Meridian and you get the Meridian, I think it is, and you use the Rush, so you have faster movement speed. It can get insane in the chaos mode, and the jetpacks add to that. And just jetpacks help you outplay, play differently, get to different levels of the map easier. And I just think jetpacks are good. And that goes along with our movement. I think the movement's good. You have sprinting, you have good sliding. The movement felt smooth, and this alpha just felt really smooth. Like it felt like a polished, finished game. I didn't crash at all. I had a little bit of lag, but that could be on my end, obviously. And I think there's a lot of people playing Saturday, Friday night and Saturday when I got that lag. And I think the movement just felt really smooth. I like that they're sliding. The jumping felt good. The jetpacks add into that movement. You get the Meridian ability where you get rush and you can increase your movement speed. And Meridian had perks where you can get that rush back sooner or your base sprints faster. And I thought that the movement elements of the game felt good, were fun, and I enjoyed them a lot. And then we get to power weapons. Here I just have Split Stream listed as here. And the Split Stream is the double gun where it's like a small SMG and a big SMG. And in the previous alpha test, you could split them and then put them back together. And when they're split, you're obviously hip firing. You can't ADS, but when you put them together is when you could ADS. But now they changed it in a way that I think is good. So if you're on controller like me, left trigger, that's your ADS, or L2 if you're on PlayStation controller. And so now when you hit the L2 or the left trigger, it just puts the gun together so you can ADS, and then when you release it, it splits it back apart. And I thought that was really good, a really good way to do it. The FUBAR, the rocket launcher, is still the same. And then I'm missing one. The BFB is a lot of fun. There's not a lot of counter to it, so I think it might need a little bit of balancing. But I thought it was good. I think the weapons are good. The Split Stream is really a unique power weapon. We've seen rocket launchers. We've seen, take the Grav Hammer. So we've seen melee weapons as power weapons in arena shooters. The Grav Hammer from Halo, that is. And then there's a new sniper. I thought the sniper needed some rebalancing. It's only one shot, headshot. I think like upper chest or neck could be one shots because it has such a slow fire rate that if you don't get hit a headshot and you shoot at someone who's good or they're already looking at you, you're going to get punished, and it makes you shy away unless you're just going to be hitting all headshots. But I think the power weapons are good. I like arena shooters, especially when they're sci-fi and fiction that have power weapons. And the Split Stream one was really unique. The one thing that I did on my consoles just popped in my head is overall weapon balancing. I think for the most part, weapon balancing is good. And, like, so what I'm about to say is, like, kind of, yeah, duh. But, like, it was too much. The shotguns and the SMGs are insane up close. I think the shotgun range, the strength it has up close is fine. It just needs to be, like, point blank to destroy you. And then the SMGs, if you run an AR even with rapid fire, SMGs, anything closer than, like, 5 or 6 meters, you're probably going to lose. So the weapon balancing was a little so-so. And the power weapons, of course, help that, but like I said, the sniper needs a little bit of a rebalance, and I think the BFB does a little bit as well. And also, the BFB has lunge, and I think if you kill someone mid-lunge, there should be a medal like there is in Halo when people have an energy. But, anyways, so just to go through the list again, cons, rounds in TDM mode, I still don't like that, but they did have a no-round playlist. Team balancing, I don't know if it was an SBMM thing, I don't know if it was just sweaty people playing, but it seemed like the team balancing wasn't great. There was less ass kickings than there was in the first alpha, but there still was a lot of ass kickings. Footstep audio is either non-existent or too quiet. Now, you do have the radar, but I think there needs to be more footstep audio. The zone capture percentage thing they fixed, so now you have to undo someone's progress for your team to get progress. No auto sprint. I get why they don't have auto sprint, but I just think it should be an option for people that want it. No kill cams. They still don't have kill cams. Can't view the scoreboard between rounds. That was fixed as well. The so-sos, the tutorial, great that they have a tutorial, teach you everything you need to know. Did not work for a lot of people. Wasn't just me. Respawn timer, it's good that you can shorten someone's respawn. It's bad that if your team's bad, your respawn takes forever. The reload animations, the cool ones are awesome, but it's a shame that not every gun has cool reload animations. And honestly, I'd like to see more than one on them, but that's a lot. Assists as kills, I'm not a fan of that in any game. I think kills should be kills, assists should be this. Pros, loadouts in general, factions in general. Each faction having their own specific loadout slots. The jetpacks and the movement make a lot of fun. And then the power weapons overall were a lot of fun. And then, of course, like the chaos mode was fun. The split ball mode was fun. So they're having fun modes, which should be on the pros, I guess. But it's not. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Splitgate 2. I'm super excited for... They said the full release is coming this year. They said probably before November. So maybe this summer we get Splitgate 2. I'm super duper excited for it. Like I said, I'll link my original review down below if you're interested in comparing it all. And see what I said before and see what I said now, especially Split Game Team, if you somehow find this. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you like this type of content and want to see it first. And comment down below what you think of Splitgate 2. Did you play it? Did you not? Are you interested? Are you not? Any other games you'd like to see me try and possibly review? Let me know that in the comments down below as well. But I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Bye. That stun is so cheese. Now that was a good play right there.
C secured.
We've got 3 hills secured.
Losing B.
Not a bad game.
Approaching the score limit. Let's finish strong.
Not bad, not bad. Hey, Ricky, thank you for the sub. Thank you for the 15 months. I appreciate you, handsome. 22-7 with 16 captures. That wasn't bad.